Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The Other Side of Midnight, Walter Sterling with Michael Harrison, publisher of Talkers and, frankly, an expert on talk radio. He would deny that, but the fact is he is an expert. And Diet Coke. And he just had a major conference that brought together all of the important people in spoken word media. Everybody there was a big deal, on the air, off the air, and he had many of them come up on the stage and essentially talk about their predictions for the future, packaged in different ways, but the bottom line, it was their predictions for the future and the industry. When you reviewed these videos, when you reviewed the convention, Michael Harrison, was there a common theme? Was there a common point of view that was coming out about the future of the medium?
The feeling in the industry is that radio as a unique medium, we all grew up with it. Everybody listening to this broadcast is very familiar with radio, and they're listening to it on the radio, and they're listening to it on a radio station and a radio show that embodies the very history and essence and spirit of radio. So this is a good conversation for a good audience. The people in the radio industry, as it was expressed at the Talkers Conference, are very concerned about the future of the medium in terms of its very survival, but they are optimistic. They're optimistic. I guess the word is cautiously optimistic, and more than predicting what's going to happen, they are advising what broadcasters should do in order to maintain the existence of radio as we know it and not let it get completely absorbed in the multimedia world of the 21st century, where individual platforms don't have the same level of individuality, uniqueness, artistry, aesthetics that individual platforms had back in the 20th century and the early part of the 21st century. For example, a movie being shown on the silver screen in a movie theater, a news story coming to you in print on a newspaper on the front, the front porch delivered by a local kid. Records being pressed on vinyl or CDs being played on a machine. People went into the studio, artists, and recorded a record. These were all individual platforms that really lent themselves to the art form. And that's what radio has been. So right now, the main concern in radio is how do you maintain that magic, that specialness that makes radio unique, but not have it be dependent on being on an AM or an FM radio appliance. And that was much of the conversation. Again, optimistic, but very cautious. And most of them advised, do good radio. Don't lose sight of it. Do good radio. Now, your next question is probably, what does good radio mean? But would you agree that that was the feeling there? Because you were there and you spoke.
Yes. I also feel that they need to be much more aggressive about creating good radio. They need to be much more aggressive about surprise, new things, totally different playlists of conversation. No more of the same.
Well, the same is really in a period right now of, some call it stagnation, and it's not across the board. There's some great radio going on, and I have to throw you a bouquet. What you're doing is tremendous radio. Just the fact that you're on live in the middle of the night, not to mention you're doing really good radio on WABC, which is, again, a great radio station. So I'm not condemning it across the board, but I do have to say that for the most part, radio has become over corporate, fearful, and stagnant. And that's a real problem, because radio always was the medium that took chances, was kind of far out, grassroots. You always, as a kid, you always knew what the hot words and the hot styles and the hot lingo and the new groups and the music, and even in politics, the up-and-coming stars, people that otherwise were not necessarily, nurtured by the mainstream media. They had their beginnings on talk radio. So talk radio and radio in general has always been kind of a populist, grassroots, close to the ground, and if I may use an old expression, extremely hip medium. And it's got to get back to that.
If you're 22 today and you just got out of college and you're looking at a career in radio, what do you think that person is going to encounter? And what do you think they're going to be doing 25 years from now?
Well, if I have anything to do with it, and of course, I'm not a spring chicken, there'll still be a radio industry, so they'll still be involved in the technology. They'll be involved in journalism. They'll be involved in sales, marketing, the arts, the art of conversation. I mean, there's so many things that happen in that magic box known as radio, and whether that box is an AM or FM device or it's your multi-purpose refrigerator, I don't know, but basically the same things they do now. It's just that the issues and the elements will be new and reflective of the modern times. I mean, did you say 50 years from now?
25, 50 years from now, yes, sure.
Can you imagine how the world is going to be 50 years from now? Sometimes I find when I just go to the grocery store, maybe 2 weeks after I've been there the last time, almost something has changed in terms of what kind of a machine you stick your credit card in,
yes,
or how things operate. Things are changing so fast that we're all immigrants from the 20th century. We can't go home again. There's no way to get back there. Not that I want to live in the past, but this second quarter of the 21st century into which we are hurtling at rapid speed is like being in a different nation, and the natives are the ones that were born into it. People that were born since 1995, 2000, 2005 are natives of this new world, and they speak the language and are very, very facile with the technology on a level that no matter how much you learn being an older person, it's very hard to do it as naturally as the kids today do it. So I don't know what the world is going to be like 50 years from now. I think if we came back 5 months from now, it would appear bizarre, and we'd have to catch up.
Here's an FM station in a top 10 city, no programming. You're hired to program it. What do you put on the air?
I would do talk, and I would do talk that covers all the hot-button issues and the things that will make people feel better, be stimulated intellectually, and learn information that will make their lives better. I think that an entertaining way of providing information, you have to be entertaining, you have to be engaging, but you have to be productive and valuable. You can't just be silly entertaining, or some people think entertaining means telling jokes, being funny. Entertaining can be anything that engages people. So you have to, I guess the word better than entertaining is engaging. You've got to engage people on a level that no other medium does. Now, you may not always succeed, but if that's the goal, you'll hit the mark more than you won't, and radio will remain a vital platform.
Michael Harrison, publisher of Talkers, a savant on American media, expertise in radio. A final thought, Michael Harrison.
Well, you once called me a media magician, and afterwards I said, well, what's this media magician thing? But I've been thinking about it, and I used the word magic a couple of minutes ago in this conversation. I think that there is an element of magic to the media, and the difference between magical media and utilitarian media is what we're talking about. In terms of music radio, when you look at the music streaming services, they have no magic. They're utilitarian. You turn on hot water, you turn on cold water, or you turn on classic rock or whatever. You don't say when you're pouring a glass of water, oh, this is magical. This wonderful liquid is coming out of this faucet into my glass and nurturing my body. You don't think that way. It's utilitarian. The electric company, the gas company, those kinds of things. Radio can be utilitarian during times of emergency in terms of providing helpful information, but most importantly, it needs to remain magical. And that's a very difficult thing to explain, to interpret, and to define. But that's what I think you meant, and that's what I certainly mean.
Thank you for being on the other side of midnight.